Hello everybody and welcome back to Dragon Wing Diamonds. I am here today with a WIP in chat. WIP stands for Work in Progress, and chat, well, I'm going to tell you about my week, and finally guys, I can finally tell you the story that I've been holding on to for like 3 weeks. I'm so excited. But first, let's look at what we're working on here today. As you can see, I am on the final bit of Pegasus Constellation, and I'm actually hoping that this little section will last me the hour, but we shall see. But to see, I can't pull up the full image, but here is the sticker, or the full image. Pegasus Constellation is by Dakota Dateweiler. This was one of the anniversary kits, and oh my goodness, I fell in love with it immediately, and for good reason, because I mean, it's just been such a pleasure to work on. But I'll touch on that in the post review that I'm probably going to be filming once I'm done with the WIP and chat here. So what I'm working with today, I actually have a new tray, which is coming in a small shop haul in a little bit. I'm just waiting on a couple more things to show up before I do post that one, but I did receive a very big tray order a couple days ago with some cat proof and of course our lovely Firefly. I love Firefly. So this is the Firefly tray in blue. This is the Ignite Plus. I absolutely love it. And then we have our trash minder from Mermaid Cavern. This was like a little freebie that was sent with my corgi butt that you've seen in other videos. And then for my pens, I actually do have two Enablers Outpost pens. I'm using my Rainbow Kaleidoscope for just regular drills and the fairy dusts. And then for ABs, I'm using this really pretty blue stars. I thought it fit the kit perfectly because, you know, it's Constellation and it's blue. Excuse me. The washi tape I'm using is this really fun space washi tape, and I got this from Amanda Michelle Designs. Is that everything? Oh, and then I'm using my Art Dot storage container. And then, of course, this I just got from Joann's. And Diamond Art Club tweezers. So yeah, I think that's everything. So I'm just going to do both sections in one go, because like I said, I'm going to finish this tonight. There is no waiting. This is going to be done. And I'm starting out with the crystal drills, so that's really exciting, which I should probably pull that out. Okay. So, how's everybody doing? I hope everybody's having a fantastic week. I know my week has definitely vastly improved because of the story I will be telling here in a moment, but I just kind of wanted to get through opening stuff first. So yeah, my week's been going pretty good. I decided to do a time lapse of the mystery kit that I got from Diamond Art Club last week. And so I've been working on that. And it's been fun so far, but I did already make an oops because there was a point where I accidentally put number 1 on number 2. And I was like, oh crap. So I paused the video to go back through and pick all the wrong drills off. And then I forgot to start the video again. So there's like a small portion of it that you won't have a video because I did an oopsie, but that's okay. Yeah, so far my week has been actually last week was pretty crazy. I actually left my house 4 days last week. It's kind of insane. I don't really leave the house very often, but I have 4 days. Yeah, so on Tuesday, I know I was talking about, we went out to, we dropped Sydney off with the in-laws, and then we had to go out and take care of some business, and that business is that we have officially refinanced our house. So basically the situation is that my fiance just recently got divorced. Me and him got together 3 years ago. It was not too long after him and her had split up. She had been cheating on him multiple times, and so they split ways, and then me and him, we reconnected because we used to work together actually. So yeah, we reconnected, and he invited me over, and I mean, rest is history. We kind of been good since then. Been really good since then. But you know, I was alongside him, went through all of this mess of the divorce, which got finalized last year because things kept getting held up because, you know, there was paperwork that wasn't being signed on their end, and it took forever for them to get divorced. And then after they got divorced, then next was the fun part, which is the refinancing. So the house is obviously in our name, or staying with us because, you know, that's where we live. and then they split their debts like equally between the two of them. So yeah, it's just been a process, because she had been negligent on her half of stuff, because basically what they were supposed to do is anything that was assigned to each other gets refinanced out of the other's name, so that way, everything's all said and done. She hasn't been doing that. and then she also hasn't been paying on it either, so it's been like yanking his credit score through the mud. So that's been frustrating, and because of that, we were struggling to get a bank to allow us to refinance, because it's like, oh, you have a really crappy credit score, why would we do this? Even though we have like 100%, on-time mortgage payments and everything like that, but, credit scores, they're stupid. So that was a whole situation, and so like we started up a refinance process with one bank in September, and basically they were making me jump through hoops because like I was supposed to be I was going to be on the refinance, and they're making me jump through hoops because at the time I was working part-time, and of course I was on maternity leave too, because I had a baby, and so they kept like having me get so much more stuff, like, oh well, you need this from your employer saying you are guaranteed to be working this amount of hours, or the amount of hours that you say you are, and we need like pay stubs from like your maternity leave provider, and you need pay stubs or your first pay stub back to work, and blah, blah, like it just so much stuff. And I was getting frustrated personally, because it's like, why am I having to jump through hoops? Like, granted, yeah, I'm working part-time, but that should be enough, honestly, because we have enough between the two of us. So we were going through that, and then we ran into another hurdle, which was the fact that she had not been paying some of the debts. And the bank's like, well, we want to see that paid up. And we're like, well, okay, that's not going to happen. So we're like, okay, fine. If we wanted to start doing this process with another bank, then, like, are we able to do that? And they told us we had to wait 3 months for this one to fall through. And we're like, what? Oh, okay. Well, not fall through. I mean, like, for the lock on the loan to be released. Or lock on the interest rate, I think it was. And so we're like, oh, okay, that's kind of annoying. So, like, this all happened, it was like March was supposed to be when that 3 months period was up. And so, I mean, yeah, we didn't do it in March. We did it in, like, towards the end of May, but, we still did it. And then, come to find out, when we talked to the new bank, they're like, yeah, they were lying to you. There's no such thing as that. We're like, wait, are you serious? And then apparently the fact that we paid out of pocket for like the appraisal and stuff like that was not right also. So it's like, okay, so this bank just kind of like took advantage of us. That's cool. And this bank I have my checking account in, so guess who's going to be moving her checking account here shortly. So yeah, we got fed up with that, but we moved to this new bank, and like my fiance explained the whole situation and everything like that, and this guy, oh my goodness, he was fantastic. Apparently he also had been through like a similar situation with a divorce that was being like this, and just like he was like, okay, we're gonna get this done. So like we're moving through this process super fast. Like it was insane. I think like from start to finish was probably 5 weeks, which is crazy for closing on a house. I mean, anybody who's closed on a house, So, yeah, that went really nice and quick and done and over with, bam. But in the meantime, because we were taking too long, in somebody's opinion, which, we kept her updated every step of the way, like, this is what's happening at this step, this is what happens at this, like, we told her all this stuff. So then, like, we got the appraisal done and everything like that, and then I know a couple weeks ago I talked about the whole Alex situation with the nurse's office. For those who may not have listened to that WIP and chat or are new here, basically what happened, my 11-year-old was trying to go behind our back to get his mom to pull him out of school, because she is a hypochondriac and she will pull those kids out of school for nothing. Case in point, Drake had allergies, and she kept him home from school when he was perfectly fine. So, yeah, we had a situation like that, and then that caused Alex to lose earning his switch doc, which then caused him to go to her and say that he got in trouble for going to the nurse's office to try to get what he wanted out of the deal. And then she called my fiance, of course, flipping out on him because she believed her 11-year-old over him. So that was fun. And so, like, there was a whole argument back and forth, and, like, my fiance stood up for himself, like, because, you know, we've dealt with this before where it's like, can you please make sure, like, you're doing this with the boys, and then we get a response of, don't tell me what to do in my house and stuff like that. Well, she basically turned around and just tried to do that. So he stood up to her and said, look, you'd be mad if I was doing this to you, so don't do it to me. Don't tell me how to run my house. And then she got angry. And then that's when she started spouting all this stuff of, like, you have to move out of the house in 30 days. You're selling the house. This is your eviction notice, your official eviction notice, and all, like, acting like our landlord. Like, she even has any say in this house. And we're like, okay, this is really annoying. And so, like, yeah, because he hung up on her when she started freaking out on him, and then she started texting him all this stuff, and just, like, so much, like, oh my god, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, and then she, like, threatened to go for full custody of the kids and stuff like that, and we're just kind of, like, rolling our eyes, because it's like, okay, you don't want that, we know you don't want that. So yeah, she was, like, pushing, and then finally, and, like, you know, at this point, you know, we took screenshots of all this and sent it to his lawyer. Because I was like, no, get this over to him so we have it on record of what she's saying. So that way, like, if something happens, we have it, like, we have this here. And so he did that. And then after he did that, she sent, I'm not going to sign the deed over to you. And then that was a moment of, like, oh, crap. What are we going to do then if she's not going to sign the deed over to us? So the next day, my fiance calls his lawyer and is like, yeah, so now she's saying that she's going to refuse to do this. Mm-hmm. And then our lawyer just kind of goes, she already signed the deed over to you. And we're like, what? And it was like, yeah, that's one of the papers she signed at the divorce. And I was like, oh shit. Excuse my French, I'm sorry. I forgot I'm not on Twitch right now. But yeah, like, I started laughing, honestly, because I was like, oh, this is so great. Because, like, we were worried that this was going to turn into a whole, like, I have to take her to court situation over it. But no, she already signed the deed over, so... So, don't want to do all the fairy dust yet. They're my favorite ones, and I don't want to get them done. Let's do, looks like C. I have an order of how I've been doing this whole time, so I'm going to stick with that order. Anyway, so, yeah, so she had already signed it over to us. So, us having this information, this is why everything was so hush-hush, just in case she had discovered my channel, and we didn't want her to get this information, but... Yeah, so we basically moved hush-hush to get closing and stuff done before, like, she could take any legal action. So we didn't tell her that she had already signed the deed over to us. We just kind of, like, let things go. We're like, okay, whatever. You can sit there and be angry. That's fine. But, you know, we got this already taken care of. And so we got closing scheduled for the house. And then on Tuesday, we went to sign the paperwork, and... the bank lawyer was like, okay, so we're going to contact her to let her know that she's going to be getting this check. And then we both were like, oh. He's like, what, do you not want me to contact her? And we're like, well, and then, like, we kind of explained to him all the stuff that was going on in the last couple weeks here. And then he's like, okay, well, then we won't contact her until after everything's in the system, so that way nothing can get messed with. Not that anything could really get messed with anyways, because we've gotten this confirmed long before any problems started, but there is no way a judge will agree to make us sell this house, because this house is the boy's childhood home. So there is, and, like, we're maintaining the house. We are able to continue to afford it. We don't, like, we're not negligent on payments or anything like that, and it's not falling apart. So yeah, there's no way that a judge would rule to give up the boy's childhood home. So yeah, and, like, the whole reason she wants to do this is just for more money anyways, which is just disgusting in my opinion. Like, yeah, and apparently she was, like, talking to the kids about this stuff too, and had Alex all in tears and stuff. It's like, why would you do that? That's just, you're putting this kid through nothing, which is ridiculous. Like, he was so excited today when we told him, like, guess what? We're all done. The house is ours. You don't have to worry about us having to sell it. And then we were like explaining the whole court thing, like, yeah, there's no way a court would even rule to us to sell it just so, you know, she could get more money out of it. I mean, even if she did sell it, even if we did sell it, she's still only she's only entitled to a certain amount of it, the money from it. So yeah. So yeah, everything got put, so like the way the banks work is that you sign the paperwork and then you have 3 days to decide whether you want to continue forward, or you have like basically 3 days to back out if you change your mind. In which we know, obviously, we're not going to back out of this because we were lucky to get this deal. So we waited the 3 days, and then so all the paperwork was submitted yesterday, being Monday. Today's Tuesday that I'm recording this. So yeah, that was good news there. And so yeah, and of course today he was getting a little antsy. So I told him, like, if you're getting that stressed out about it, just email the guy we've been dealing with and see what he says. And then sure enough, like, got an email back almost immediately saying, like, yep, everything's all set. I see it here. It's in the system. It's just going to take a couple weeks for it to actually show up in the system. And basically, like, we're free of a mortgage payment for this month, so we don't have to worry about that. And then also on top of it, with this refinance, this is the best part, with this refinance, we are actually eliminating basically almost all of the debt that was coming to my fiance in the divorce. So everything's getting paid off. Like, there was enough in the loan to cover the house and then all the debts that he has. So the only thing we'd have to do at this point is get the car out of her name, which is okay because we need a bigger car, because 3 kids in a SUV doesn't work very well. So yeah, brain. So yeah, that's like basically covering everything that we have to worry about in regards to the divorce. And so, you know, once again, we just kept her in the dark, and then, you know, the bank called her today. And then, of course, she called him all pissed off, being like, oh my God, how'd you do this? I didn't sign this over. And it's like, yes, you did. Really, cat? Every time I record, one of these cats have to throw up. It's like, yeah, you signed it over in the divorce, and then, like, you know, not... Of course, now she's, like, threatening to go for, like, child support, and it's like, okay, you make more money than we do. Or you make more money than he does, so how's that gonna work? It's not. And, like, you know... And we have a pretty good standing, too, because it's like, okay, so you are literally telling me that you want to go for this just because you didn't get $50,000 out of the house that you definitely weren't entitled to, because, you know, you weren't paying anything on the house for 2 years before the divorce? So, yeah. It's just, it was a whole, like, this whole dramatic situation that could have been avoided if, you know, she was just slightly patient, because, you know, she's the reason why we couldn't get this done. So, but yeah, now everything's all done, thankfully. We got, the money is getting rolled out now to all the, like, the credit cards and loans and stuff that are getting paid off. And then, yeah, he's going to be mostly debt-free, and we own our house. So, yay! So yeah, that's the story I've been sitting on for a couple weeks. Just all the drama is just ridiculous too, because like she's a narcissist, so she feels like she needs to have control of everything, and she thought she had control, so now she's really angry to find out that she really didn't, because she didn't remember what paperwork was signed and everything like that. And then of course, you know, the concern of her like doing something else going forward, and it's like, well, this is why she wouldn't do this, this is why she wouldn't do this, and all that. And like, I mean, yeah, she can try to go for full custody. I don't think it's going to work very well in her favor, though. But, yeah. So, yeah, that was my Tuesday. So we went out and signed the paperwork and stuff, and then got back, picked up Sydney from the in-laws, and got home and just, you know, kind of relaxed after that, because, you know, it was a stressful day. Because waiting for the appointment was hard enough, because it wasn't until, like, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I think. It was supposed to be at 3, and then it got pushed back to 4, I think it was. But yeah. So yeah, that was our Tuesday. And then what happened Wednesday? I think Wednesday was kind of just a chill day, right? yeah, Wednesday was just a chill day. We talked about going out to a restaurant for dinner, you know, for like Sydney's first time out, and like we were thinking Wednesday would be the day we do that. But then like I was just exhausted on Wednesday because, you know, all the stress from the day before, and excuse me, and just like, you know, just kind of dealing with everything that we're kind of dealing with right now. I was just like, oh, I'm not feeling it today. I don't feel like being out in public today. Right? That was Wednesday, right? Yeah, okay. I gotta make sure I'm right on my days. Okay, so yeah, that was Wednesday. We kind of just chilled at home because, you know, I was like, I'm not feeling it today. And then Thursday, so that was where like, okay, so we're gonna go out to dinner tonight because he's been craving diner food. Because, you know, he loves his home fries, but they have to be very specific home fries. So it was like, okay, we'll go to a diner. So we went to the diner that him and his family went to a lot when he was younger and stuff. And like the hostess there, I mean, she's been working there for years, and she like knows him really well, and so it was her first time seeing Sydney and stuff like that. And of course, you know, Sydney was of course grumpy too on that day because it's like, oh my goodness, like she's like down, she's trying to become a one nap baby, but she's not ready to become a one nap baby because she's like grumpy as heck. Keep getting all these notifications. Yeah, so she was really grumpy, so we're like, oh, it's gonna be kind of rough, I think, but we'll see. So yeah, we went out, and I mean, she was pretty good for most of the time, but, you know, by the time we were done and getting ready to leave, she started getting a little antsy, and so I had to take her outside and just rock her outside while he paid the bill and stuff like that. So we went there, we had some dinner. I had an omelet with like turkey and tomatoes and cheese in it, and I don't remember, he had an omelet too, but I don't remember what it was. And then we got our home fries and some toast, and then for Sydney we got her a pancake and put a little bit of syrup on it, and she just like went to town. She was having such a great time with it. And then we also had some Duplo. Like, it was funny too because we went to pull toys out of her diaper bag because we always have toys in there for her, and he pulls out a couple of Duplos, and I'm like, how did those get in there? So there was one day where the diaper bag was just kind of open, sitting next to the entertainment stand, and she was like dropping toys in there. So I guess I didn't pull all the Duplos back out. So yeah, that was pretty funny. So yeah, so she played with a couple of Duplos while we had our dinner, and I was kind of stressing a little bit through it because she had been so grumpy all day, and I was like, oh my god, she's gonna get angry and yell and make other people around angry and stuff, but no, she was really good with it. And then, like I said, at the end, she did get a little antsy, so I took her outside and just kind of rocked her and stuff like that. And then, like, a couple people came up and were, like, waving at her and stuff like that. I'm like, can you say hi? And then she kind of just stared, and I'm like, oh, she's too tired. So yeah, that was our Thursday. There we go. And then Friday, during the summer, my fiance works summer hours. So we made the plan that we were gonna go to Kohl's on Friday because I was fooling myself for too long that my body was just going to jump back to where it was, and I would just magically fit into all my old clothes again. Yep, and that unfortunately was not the case, and yeah. And I hate clothes shopping. I absolutely hate it. While I was growing up, I dealt a lot with with basically my grandmother telling me that I needed to, you know, just things I needed to do to attract a decent husband and stuff like that, things I needed to improve about myself. And basically I just spent my whole life listening to that, and, you know, just like she was very shameful of my mom and my aunt when they gained weight and stuff like that, and so that's kind of still ingrained into my brain. Like, I'm slowly getting away from it. It's slow, but it's happening. So yeah, So I'm like, I hit this point now though where it's like, okay, I have absolutely no shorts for the summer, and it's already been pretty warm here, and my tank tops are tight as can be, and I'm still wearing like nursing bras that have little clips on them, and I was like, I just need to get new clothes. Like this is something that needs to happen now. And so we went there, and I was worried because usually like shopping at Kohl's too is like it's one of those things where it's either you find what you need or you find nothing and get frustrated. And I think the last like 4 times we've gone into Kohl's and come out when I've been shopping for myself, I've been in tears. Spoiler alert, this time I did not cry. So, yeah, so we go in, and once again, you know, Sydney's grumpy, so she's like having us play pass the baby back and forth. And so we find a pair of shorts that I actually really like. I think I want to go back for some more, honestly. And then found a couple pairs of capris that I really liked. And then I found I just like to wear basic tank tops during the summer. I hate wearing sleeves during the summer because I sweat a lot, and you know I live in a humid climate and stuff like that. So like it's gross. So yeah, I decided to I got some tank tops that are basically the same as the ones I had before, but just in a bigger size. Yeah, and then of course, you know, I got a couple new bras as well with underwire again, so my body's getting used to that again, but because it's been over a year. But yeah, like I felt really good when I got dressed the next day because like we made sure everything got into the wash because we had plans for Saturday. But I felt really good when I went out because, you know, like I had things that fit me and it wasn't a hassle to get dressed in the morning, go looking for clothes and stuff like that. Um, yeah, it was just like overall really good experience. And normally, because like I used to wear large shirts, because like basically my waist isn't that big, but my chest is, so I always end up having to wear like a bigger size up shirt than I probably need. But yeah, so that gets kind of annoying. So before I was wearing larges, but now I'm in extra larges, and you know, usually like if it was me like 3 years ago, I probably would have cried over it. But here I am now, and I did not cry over it, and I'm really proud of myself. And like it was so sweet. I shared this in Sophie's Discord with a bunch of my friends there, and like all of them were just like so supportive and uplifting, and it made me feel really good. And I'm really proud of myself for that accomplishment. So yeah, that was it was Friday. It was a good day. So yeah, I got some new clothes. Oh yeah, and then I got so angry at this. I want to say teenage. I'm pretty sure it was just a teenager, like high schooler or whatever. But like her and her friends were like being loud and obnoxious and stuff like that, and like she's like swearing up a storm and stuff. And then like, 'cause, you know, I'm standing there, like we're standing there with Sydney, and like I'm trying to, because I was looking at bra sizes and trying to figure out like the math for like the next size up, because like my size apparently doesn't exist on bras. And so we're dealing with that, and like they're yelling and stuff, and then yeah, she's swearing, and then her one friend goes, "My God, lower your voice. There's children here." And then she just goes, "I don't effing care that there's children here." Of course, she actually said the word, and I was like, "Oh, Mama Bear mode about to activate." Thankfully, I was too focused on my phone, because it's like, you know, Sydney's at that age where she mimics things like. She could have easily picked that up, and I would have been very upset. Not saying that I'm perfect and don't swear around her, but you know, shouldn't have to worry about that from like a stranger. Like, yeah. So yeah, it was just kind of one of those moments of, man, you just have no decency or respect out in public. Nice, okay. It's like it's okay if you act like that, like in private with your friends when you guys are all hanging out at your house or something like that, but don't do that in public. I'm definitely a very different person in private versus public, for sure. Okay, I need a drink really quick. We're almost at half an hour. Nice. There we are at a half an hour. Yeah, so that was Friday. And then on Saturday, we went to a surprise party for one of my fiance's friends. He turned 40 this year, even though he doesn't look like he did. At all. I know, it's like, oh yeah, he's gonna be 40. I'm like, what? So yeah, we went to a birthday party for him, and it was a lot of fun. Basically just hung out with all of his friends and stuff like that, and his friends Adam and Sarah were there with their two little ones, Case and Gaius. And Gaius was making me a little nervous. He kept trying to pick Sydney up, and like he's a little scrawny kid, and I'm like, please don't drop my child. But yeah, it was just really sweet because, you know, they like passed the water bottle back and forth with her and stuff like that, and you know, like they were so amused by everything she did and stuff, and Sydney had a good time, and all the people were like, oh my goodness, she's so cute, and then everybody kept asking me how old she was and stuff like that. And yeah, she had a fun time. Got her more used to walking in grass now because they're like we were at a park, at a pavilion at a park. So we were outside, which is why I ended up with sunburn, which I was like talking about on my Twitch stream on Saturday. But yeah, we were at a park, and so we were like having Sydney walk around in the grass and stuff like that and get her used to that because she's not quite used to it yet, but she's getting there. Yeah, so she walked around and had a blast and everything, and then we decided to come home because she started getting really grumpy and stuff, because in reality, she was just mad at us because we wouldn't let her get the cake that was on the floor. Like, girl. So yeah, we hung out there for a couple hours and then came home and then just relaxed for a bit while she went crazy. So yeah, that was our Saturday. And we ended up getting him this really cool birthday present too. There's like basically a book that's like a breakdown of all of the gaming consoles that have been out, and like including like rare ones that didn't sell very well and ones that got discontinued and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool. And he's a major nerd with all that, so he really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, we had to leave before he got to open said presents because, you know, Little Miss was being a little booger, but it's okay. It's just part of your life when... I mean, it was funny, too, because those are, like, we decided to leave, and then Adam and Sarah also were leaving at the same time, and I just had to laugh. I'm like, oh, look at all of us with kids that are leaving. So, yeah. Yeah, and then we came home, and then just relaxed until her bedtime, and then... relax a little bit more, and then I live streamed for a bit. Actually, more than like I probably could have gone past midnight, but I was like, nope, I should probably stop here because I had a lot of viewers and stuff that night, so that was really exciting. Yeah, if you guys are interested, please throw me a follow over on Twitch. I'm actually almost to the point of being able to apply for Twitch affiliate. I just need to hit 50 subs, or 50 followers, so if you guys want to watch me live, go ahead and like me over there. The link is down in the description box below if you're interested. So let's see. So that was Saturday, and then Sunday, of course, you know, Sunday is boy drop-off / pickup, so we were getting the boys back on Sunday. And I tried so hard to keep Sydney up for her to see her brothers because, you know, like the boys love seeing her when they first come here, and I know it sometimes puts Alex in a better mood when he gets to see his sister, and then because like he still gets upset with the transitions and stuff like that. And we were gonna try to I was trying to keep her up, but unfortunately she just got way too grumpy because, you know, like this whole not napping thing is just killing us, because like she obviously needs the naps, she's obviously tired, but she's just refusing to take them, and I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know how to, like, I know there's probably not much I can do about it, but it's like, man, like, girl, what's going on? Why don't you want to sleep? And like, yeah, she's been like screaming louder and louder at nap, like when it comes to nap time and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, what, why? So you're not even 2 yet. We're not time for terrible 2s. But yeah, we were like, so I tried to keep her up, and I was like, and of course, they got home just a minute after I laid her down. I'm like, oh, I just laid her down. And he was like, oh, my fiance was like, oh, was she being grumpy? I'm like, yeah, unfortunately. And so we did our usual McDonald's for dinner, as we do when we get the boys back, and we were talking to them about their week and stuff like that, catching up, all that fun stuff. Asked them how their last week of school went, and Alex, he's so cute. He's like, it was torture. I'm like, last week of school is supposed to be the easy week, but apparently one of his teachers that he really likes is not coming back next year. He got a job at a different school that apparently is his dream job, so he is he's no longer going to be handling Alex's class and stuff like that. So he was a little upset about that, but it's like, and then of course, he had a sub for half the year because his actual teacher ended up having a baby. And so he also had to say goodbye to that sub as well, although it sounds like they're trying to get her hired full-time, but this is based on what Alex was telling me, so I think he said like my class was trying to get her hired full-time or something like that. So you never know. So yeah, boys got back, and it was funny too because we were like, so we had agreed to get Alex a doc after all, just because we didn't want to deal with it for the summer. And then we forgot to order it because we got so focused on the birthday presents for his friend. We're like, oh crap, we didn't get Alex's doc yet, so we ordered it. It's like, okay, well, it's gonna be here on Monday. So he had to go like a day, it wasn't much time anyways, because like we picked the boys up around 6, and then like their bedtime's at 8:30. So in reality, by the time we finish with dinner and stuff like that, they only have like an hour if most to play. So he just played handheld while he waited. It's all the 4s. To look this way. Yes, it's all the 4s. I'm gonna find one later though. You watch. You know how it goes. Okay, well, I guess I was wrong on this one taking me more than an hour, or less than an hour, so cool. I'm glad I was wrong about that. So yeah, and then Monday we kind of just had a relaxing day. Like the forecast here has been calling for rain all week, which has kind of like been typical. Every week we have the boys, it's like freaking raining every day, which has been really frustrating because their mom gets like all the nice weather and we get all the crappy weather. But so yeah, we're like, the forecast said it was calling for rain for most of the week, so I was like, okay. The boys are like, oh, are we gonna get to go outside and play? And we're like, hopefully, maybe, we'll see. And so so yeah, Monday they did get to go outside and play for a little bit, so we sent them out, I think after lunchtime it was, and then they were out there running around and playing, and like while they were doing so, we actually decided to get the air conditioners put in our house, because we don't have central air here. Basically, our house used to be like a beach house that somebody only used during the summer, and then like now we live in it full time, so that doesn't have like any up-to-date stuff like central air or anything like that. And so we had to put air conditioners in the windows. We have this really giant one that goes in our downstairs window, like our window down here in the living room, and it's like massive, so it takes 2 of us to carry it, and I'm like, this is my least favorite part of this time of year, is like carrying that thing upstairs, and then the next least favorite part is going to be carrying it back downstairs, because the thing is heavy. But it was funny, because this year as I'm carrying it back upstairs, I'm like, this is easier to carry. Maybe because I've been lugging around a 20-something pound baby girl. So yeah, we got the air conditioners put in, and then while the kids were outside playing, and then like it was funny too, because like both like Alex is dealing with, we think he's got a sinus infection at this point, because he's got allergies, and apparently he's not been taking allergy medicine all last week. And in New York, this is the time of year where the pollen is the worst in the air, so in reality these kids should be taking their allergy medicine daily, like preemptively, like before anything. So apparently that didn't happen last week, so Alex has had this really bad stuffy nose, and then and he's like blowing his nose, and it's like, oh, it's green, and we're like, okay, well, we're gonna keep an eye on that. Actually tomorrow we have to call the doctor, because we're thinking he needs an antibiotic, and we already needed to schedule Sydney's 15-month appointment too, so I was like, okay, 2 birds, 1 stone, take care of it tomorrow. We were going to do it today, but too much happened today. So yeah, we're like, so he's dealing with that, so they were outside running around, and like after a little bit, like I think it was first Drake came over, and he was like, I'm really tired, can I come inside? And like at this point we had the like living room pulled apart and stuff like that, because we put the air conditioner behind the couch, in the window behind the couch, and so we had the living room like completely in shambles, and we're like, no. We got too much going on in here, and like it's like, oh, you're just too tired? Well, like, then play a game that doesn't require like running around and going crazy and stuff like that. Just play a calm game. And so like we sent him back out, and then after we got the air conditioners in, we sat down, like the 2 of us sat down to eat lunch, because we hadn't eaten lunch yet. We fed the boys, but we didn't, and fed the children, okay. We fed the children, but we didn't feed ourselves. So we sat down to eat our lunch finally, and then as we're doing so, Alex comes up to the back door, and I kind of like pointed, because, you know, I was right behind my fiance, and he turned around and like opened the door. I was like, what? And Alex was like, I have a headache, can I come in? And we're like, dude, you're not going to get much time to play this week, because apparently it's supposed to be raining, so why don't you just go out and enjoy yourself, just relax. Like, we gave him water and stuff like that, so it's like, just drink some water, you'll be fine. So then he went back out and continued playing and stuff like that. And so we finished up our lunch, and we were kind of just, I was relaxing and he was doing some work, and then I was watching the sky, and I'm like, ooh, it's getting dark out there, like really dark. And so like I looked over, like, because he was like, he was saying like, oh, I'll just finish up these couple of jobs and then I'll call them in. I was like, okay. And then I'm like watching the sky transition. I'm like, you might want to call them in sooner, actually. And he like looked outside. I was like, oh crap. And so he went out and got the kids and brought them back in and stuff like that. And like within minutes, it started downpouring and hailing, like giant hail. We don't get hail out here very often. And so, fun fact about me, I am terrified of storms. Absolutely terrified. Like, I slept in a tent in a thunderstorm, and I have not been able, like, I've been terrified of them ever since. So, yeah, I'm, like, almost full-blown anxiety attack through this whole entire thing. Because, like, I'm, like, picturing a tornado dropping down or ripping apart our house and stuff like that. And, like, it didn't get that bad, of course, but, you know, it's where my mind goes. And so, like, I was freaking out and stuff like that, and where, like, my fiance just, like, sitting there and, like, trying to get me, like, trying to help me relax through it and stuff like that. And, yeah, it was crazy. So, yeah, I was like, man, we called you guys in just in the nick of time, too, because, like, that literally is, like, that started only minutes after you guys, like, got back inside. And so thankfully that storm didn't last very long. Yeah, thankfully, because I would have been very much panicking past that. So yeah, the storm didn't last very long, and it went on its way. And yeah, so we're like, okay. And then, of course, like, minutes after that happened, the sun came back out again. And I'm like, what the heck? And then it got rainy again, and then the sun came out again. And I'm just like, I'm sitting there, I was texting Stealthy, and I'm like, go home, Weather, you're drunk. So I'm like, what the heck? It was crazy, just like rain, and then rain and hail, and then sunshine, and then more rain, and then sunshine again. Thankfully it didn't hail again, but yeah. And then it was like downpouring like after we were, like, when we were getting in bed and stuff like that again. So yeah, that was fun. Oh yeah, and like, I didn't talk about the first part of Monday, so like I said, both boys have been pretty congested and stuff like that because of allergies. And so at like 7 o'clock in the morning on Monday, like, Drake was in the bathroom trying to get, like, the phlegm out of his throat or something like that. I don't know. I was too tired. But basically he was in there coughing and, like, spitting and making a lot of loud noises at 7 o'clock in the morning. And then when he was done, he, like, went and got back into bed. And I was like, okay. And, you know, of course, you know, I wake up at everything, which I have a theory as to why I do that now. But yeah, I wake up to everything, so like I was like, man, this is kind of annoying. So I went to go close my eyes again, and then of course Sydney woke up. I'm like, oh great. And so yeah, 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm getting up with her. I'm like, oh, of course this had to happen on the day that I had to get up with her, right? And so I take her downstairs, and just me and her, and we're just chilling and stuff. And then Drake comes down at like 8. And then like, because she was woken up so early, Sydney was just in a bad mood, and just it was a whole situation. And she got all mad at me because I wouldn't let her get at her brother for his Switch and stuff like that. And then she got mad if I put her down, and then she got mad if I picked her up. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna lay you down early, because yeah. So I think I made it to almost 10 o'clock, I think, and I went upstairs and basically, well no, I think it was almost 9 o'clock maybe, I don't remember, but I went upstairs and got him up, and I was like, look, yeah, she's been up since 7, she's been grumpy and stuff like that, I just can't handle it anymore. And then he went and laid her down, and then I laid down for a nap and conked back out because, you know, I'd been up late the night before like normal. So yeah, that was fun. And so yeah, she was really grumpy for the entire day because since her schedule was thrown off, she didn't really nap much. And so like we basically ended up taking turns with her, like, because I took her in the morning, and then I told him what was going on and laid her down, and then I laid down for a little bit. And then it's funny, I think like I got woken up by, I don't remember what, like, I think maybe he came in and was telling me something and stuff like that, and I think that's one thing that woke me up. And then after I went back downstairs, I fell back asleep. Okay, that's very random. Oh. So yeah, I was like, okay, well, and then yeah, so I fell back asleep and then ended up waking up again. And it was kind of funny too, because like through all this, like I didn't hear Alex come out of his room at all. And so yeah, when I got downstairs, I was told that Alex, our kid who never sleeps in, slept in until like almost 10 o'clock. And I was like, whoa, that's amazing. Because he doesn't sleep in. His body doesn't let him. Or he says his body doesn't let him. I think it's just more like he wakes up and he's like, oh, I can play video games now. And like that's why he doesn't go back to sleep. So yeah. That was Monday morning, and then everything that happened Monday evening. So it's like, Monday was a very stressful day for me, and I was like, oh my god, I just can't anymore. So yeah, that was Monday. Yeah, by the time we were done, I was like just exhausted and was over it and all that fun stuff. So yeah, then today I got to sleep in a bit, so I got up about like 10:30ish, I think, officially. Because I did wake up a couple times, but now that we have the air conditioners in the window, like, I don't hear anything that happens downstairs again, so I can sleep a little bit better, which is nice. I forgot how good it was having that air conditioner in for white noise machine. So, yeah. So, yeah, this morning I got to sleep in pretty good and relax. What's that? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm almost done here. Yeah, so I got to relax a bit. And then, oh my god, so today was kind of hectic though. No, just go for it. Just do it. Commit. Sorry about that, guys. We're kind of in a shared space right now, so there's going to be noises. You can open it too.
Oh, no, I need to use the bathroom.
Okay. He's ridiculous. Oh my god. Yeah, today was hectic too because like last night we tried to remember to throw an Instacart order in because like I was feeling the gallon of milk and I was like, okay, there's not enough milk here for both boys to have cereal for breakfast and for Sydney to have a bottle tonight and tomorrow because I figured this out like before it was time to get her nighttime bottle ready. And so I was like, yeah, there's not going to be enough milk for all of us between tonight and tomorrow. And it's like, okay, well, we'll do an Instacart order for, like, the essential stuff. Because, like, we needed lunch stuff and everything like that, too. And then tomorrow he would go to the store for the remainder of the stuff. And then it got till like 11 o'clock, and like the grocery store here closes at midnight because like ever since since 2020, the grocery store doesn't stay open 24 hours anymore. So we're like, okay. So it got to 11 o'clock, and I went, you never did that Instacart order, did you? He's like, oh crap. So we're like, okay. So we had to figure it out, and so like he left a note for the boys, to not have cereal, and like he'd make them breakfast when he got downstairs. So the boys had cookie toast for breakfast, which is basically toast with cinnamon sugar on it. And then Sydney had her bottle and everything like that. And then, so I got up and came down and stuff. And like by the time I was getting up was about when Sydney went down for her nap. And so I basically got to come down and just start diamond painting because I was working on this. Because I knew, like last night after looking at it, I'm like, I can get this done tomorrow. And I want to get it done tomorrow. So here's me pushing to get it done. And I did a pretty good job because I had most of it done before the kids even went to bed. Because I'm that good. So yeah, I came down and just started diamond painting, and then, my fiance was working and stuff, and then we were like realizing, oh yeah, when are we going to go to the grocery store? And then it's like, oh wait, we got to call the doctor's office for these appointments, and then, oh, we got to send this email, I got to do this. Like, there's so much that we had to do, and we're like, oh, okay. So, like, we kind of took it one step at a time and stuff like that. So we're like, okay, so in order for us to have lunch, you need to go grocery shopping, because, like, we had literally nothing. We didn't have peanut butter for the kids to have peanut butter sandwich, because, like, usually what Drake has for lunch is a peanut butter and grape jelly sandwich. And then Alex has been really into, like, Fluffernutters recently, like the peanut butter and fluff sandwiches. So that's what he's been wanting. And it's like, okay, well, we don't have any peanut butter, so we're going to need to get that. And, like, we didn't have, what was it? I think we had chicken patties, but we didn't have buns or something. I don't know. We were just kind of, like, out of every, like, meal option. And so I was like, okay, well, you can go to the store first before we can do lunch anyway. So why don't you, like, you go to the store, I'll stay home with the 3 kids. First it was like, oh, do you want me to take them with me? And then I was like, well, you guys promise you behave for me? And then Alex was like, I pinky promise on my life. And I looked at him like, so I get to take your life if you break the promise? And he goes, uh-oh. I'm like, wait, am I that scary? So, yeah. So I was like, yeah, it should be fine then. If they promise that they'll behave, then yes, I don't mind them staying here. Because usually what happens is, like, when he leaves the house, they just suddenly decide, like, they don't need to listen anymore. So that's usually why they go with him when it comes to leaving the house, and I just stay home with Sydney. But yeah, I was like, no, I'll take care of it. I got this. And so yeah, the boys were good and everything like that. And then it was funny because, like, while he was out, the neighbor texted me and she's like, oh, are the boys available to play? And I'm like, oh. And I was like, well, we're going to be doing lunch here soon, but once they're done lunch, we can definitely send them out. And then, like, I looked over at the boys. I'm like, so you guys want to go outside and play with Lily and Maple? And then Alex was like, I don't know. And I was like, what? What? He's like, I think I want to go out for an hour and then come back in. And I just kind of looked at him like, you realize you are not going to be spending your whole entire summer break playing Switch. And so, like, it was funny too, because, like, we got this whole big ordeal and stuff like that. And then finally they went outside to play, and then the girls had to go in because they hadn't eaten lunch yet. And so I was like, okay, so the girls had to go in for lunch, and then the boys came back in for a little bit while the girls were eating lunch, and then he was like, yeah, they said they were going to come knock on our door after they're done with lunch. And I was like, okay. Nobody came to knock on the door. And so the boys were like, can we, like, he's like, can we go over and check to see if they're ready? And I was like, and like my fiance was like, oh, we can just text them. So I texted the neighbor, and she's like, oh yeah, they can go back out. I'm like, okay, cool. And so I told the boys, and, like, it was so funny. Oh, I left behind a drill. It's okay. This is the end of the kit, so I don't really need... Oh, where did that go? Right there. So yeah, and like the first time they were going out, you know, Alex gave such an argument and fuss and everything like that. The second time, like he's like, "Can we go out now?" I'm like, "Yeah, you can go out right now." She said she sent him out, and so he was like out the door, and I kind of had to laugh because like, man, all that argument before, and now he's just like, "Yep, I'm good, bye." I think he realized how much fun it is to play outside with the girls, so he didn't give it much argument. Plus, you know, we kind of threw in the argument of, you know, you've been complaining that you don't get to play outside here very often, but then when you're given the chance to play outside, you say you don't want to. But I think at that point, it was just because him and Drake were playing Minecraft and they were just having too much fun with it. Which, oh my goodness, Drake, he is a devious little child. Especially in not especially, in Minecraft, he's a devious little child. So they were playing this morning, and you know I'm sitting here doing like diamond paint and doing my thing, and then Drake's narrating everything as he's doing it, and then he's like, "Oh look, a lovely little house, and I'm gonna put this little for sale sign up here," and then you walk in the house, and oh, what's this? A pressure plate, and when you press or if you step on the pressure plate, then all the TNT goes off, and I'm like, what? So remember how earlier I said I have a theory for why I sleep so lately? That is why. This kid, he comes out with the funniest things. And then at dinner tonight, oh my god, this is kind of a gross story, but it's kind of funny at the same time. We're sitting here at dinner, and like we had hot dogs for dinner, and you know, it's funny too, because like when we start, or not funny, but when we start dinner, like my fiance will ask, okay, how many are you in the mood for? And like the boy, like Drake will always say a number, but he like never eats nearly as much. So I was like, why don't you just I looked at my fiance, I'm like, why don't you just start with one, and then if he wants another one, then he'll let you know. And I was like, does that sound fair, Drake? And he was like, yeah, and he nodded. And then so he finishes, like we're finishing up with dinner, and then my fiance looks at him, he's like, so are you gonna want another one, or are you full? And then Drake goes, well, my stomach isn't, or I am full, but my stomach didn't tell me, my butt did. We're like, wait, what? And so my fiance's like, so you need a poop? He's like, yes. And I ran in the bathroom. I'm just like, okay. Kid, you crack me up. So yeah. Those are my fun stories for the week. It's just been a kind of busy week, and it's kind of exciting because, you know, I had plenty to talk to, and it lasted an hour without any problems. Like, look at me go. I left the house and did stuff like an actual adult. So coming up this week, we got a post review, of course, coming on this painting. Should be coming this week, we'll see. I had to get my Luna post review up yesterday, so, because, you know, I'm filming on Tuesday. So everything's in Tuesday land right now. So yeah, I'll probably get up my post review here of Pegasus Constellation, and then I do have an unboxing of a Muni Made kit, and then tomorrow I should be receiving my Jada Gem Shop kit, but that probably won't be unboxed until closer to August because that is my kit for Sailor Summer. So I will probably wait till, or I'm probably going to unbox it immediately, but I'll probably wait to post the unboxing until it's closer to the event. Because, you know, I can't help it. I got to break into the boxes. So yeah, I might post my Muni Made unboxing that I literally filmed like right before doing this. Because I was excited about my first Muni Made kit, and it's absolutely beautiful. And then, of course, you know, I will be live on Twitch on Thursday and on Saturday. So come on over and join in the fun. It's been a lot of fun lately. I'm actually really enjoying live streaming, so, or going live. Yeah, so I think that's about it for this week. If you made it to the end of our video here, let's see. You know what? Let's do either a house emoji or a poop emoji. 'Cause that's fun, right? House for Drake's trap house, and our house refinance, and poop emoji for Drake's butt telling him he was full. So yeah. Yep, and so if you like this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up, And if you are not already subscribed and you sat here and listened to me chat for exactly 1 hour at this point, if you've listened to me chat for this long, you're probably going to like it here. So you might as well hit that little subscribe button down there. And then hit that bell to be notified whenever I post videos. WIP and chats like these are generally posted on Wednesdays, but things like small shop hauls, unboxings, post reviews, those are done at random. So you definitely want to hit that bell to be notified whenever I post a video. And yeah, so I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye!